We're taught to picture our ancestors as heroic hunters, standing against the wind, spears in hand, chasing giants across frozen land. It's a powerful story. It makes us feel proud, wild, ancien. But what if that picture is only half true? What if the real story of human survival wasn't built on strength, but on humility? Here's the reverse truth. Humans did not survive because they were the best hunters. They survived because they were willing to eat what others ignored. Roots, seeds, shellfish, berries, bitter plants, small things hidden close to the ground. Not impressive, not cinematic, but reliable. The heroic story says we conquered nature. The quieter truth says we listened to it. Picture a long day. The hunters leave before sunrise. Hours pass. The air gets colder. Tracks disappear. The animal vanishes. When the group returns, there is no celebration. Only empty hands and tired eyes. Now the real work begins. Scanning the ground, flipping stones, digging where the soil is soft, checking the shoreline when the tide pulls back. Quiet food, everyday food, the food that shows up even when luck does not. Imagine one person walking back to camp, no animal on their shoulder, no victory, no blood, no applause, just dirt under the nails, and a bundle of roots pulled from the earth. To modern eyes, that looks small. To a hungry group, that was life. A failed hunt could leave people empty. A found root could keep children breathing until tomorrow. This is where the paleo myth begins to crack. The lie is not that our ancestors ate meat. Of course they did. Meat mattered. Meat was precious. Meat was powerful. But meat was not always there. Survival could not depend on a lucky kill. Survival had to depend on flexibility. The real ancient diet was not one perfect menu. It was one simple question. What can we find today? And today changed constantly. Some weeks, the river ran thick with fish. Some seasons, the fruit trees exploded with color. Some winters offered almost nothing, only tough plants, and whatever small creatures could be trapped. People learned patterns, where the berries ripened first, which roots were safe after rain, how to read bird calls, how to find nearby water. This was not a trendy diet plan. It was a living relationship with a landscape that could turn cruel overnight. Survival was not purity. Survival was adaptation. If you want clues about what people truly ate, don't only look at weapons. Look at teeth. Researchers have found traces of starch and plant material preserved in ancient dental remains. Tiny signals, quiet evidence. The mouth remembers what the ego forgets. We built statues for the hunter, but the teeth still whisper about the gatherer. Bones whisper too. In some places, scientists study chemical signatures in ancient remains. These signals can reflect a mix of foods over time. The details vary by region, and the conclusions must be careful. But the theme repeats. Human diets were diverse, seasonal, and opportunistic. When one food source failed, people leaned on another. That is not weakness. That is intelligence. The oldest form of intelligence. The kind that does not look heroic, but keeps people alive. Again and again. There's something deeply human in that. We like dramatic stories. We remember the spear, not the hand that dug in silence. We remember the chase, not the patience. But most of life is not dramatic. Most of survival is boring, repeated, ordinary work. Groups did not live because someone was brave once. They lived because someone kept showing up, day after day, collecting what was available and sharing it when it mattered. Across the world, there was never one human diet. Someone near the sea ate differently from someone in the forest. Someone on open grassland ate differently from someone in the mountains. Some survived on fish and shellfish, some on nuts and tubers, some on insects, some on large animals when they could get them. The idea of one perfect ancient diet is a modern fantasy, placed on an ancient world that was never that simple. The real genius of humanity was not purity, it was adaptation. So when you hear someone say, "This is what humans are meant to eat," be skeptical. Meant by whom? In what climate? In what season? With what tools? With what risks? Nature never gave one universal recipe. Nature gave trade-offs. Humans survive by negotiating those trade-offs. Again and again. Modern marketing loves clean rules because clean rules sell. Eat like a caveman fits on a label. Adapt to your environment and your social life does not. But bodies are not slogans. If you change the food but keep the stress, you are not recreating the past. You are just rearranging groceries and hoping discipline will fix everything. Then came fire. Fire was not just a tool. It was a turning point. Before fire, food fought back. Roots were hard. Plants were bitter. Meat was tough. Chewing took time. Digestion took effort. But fire softened the world. It made food easier to eat, easier to digest, and often richer in usable energy. In a strange way, cooking moved digestion outside the body. The fire did part of the work before the food entered the mouth. Fire also changed time. Cooking created waiting. Waiting created space. Space created conversation. A flame pulls people together, the way a screen does today. Except a fire warms your hands, lights faces, and invites stories. Around a fire, food becomes more than calories. Food becomes culture, and that changed us. With more energy available, the human brain could grow. The jaw did not have to work all day. The body became less like a grazing animal and more like a thinking animal. To be ancient is not to be raw. To be human is to transform. Modern people romanticize the past. We imagine ancient bodies as perfect bodies. Lean, strong, clean, free from modern problems. But the truth is harsher. They were not training for beauty. They were surviving uncertainty. Low body fat was not a lifestyle goal. In many seasons, it was danger. Fat was not failure. Fat was stored hope. When food appeared, they ate. They did not count calories. They chased calories. Because winter did not care about discipline. Infection did not care about abs. Hunger did not care about aesthetics. And they rarely did it alone. Food was not only fuel. Food was relationship. Around the fire, people did more than eat. They watched each other. They told stories. They shared meat, roots, berries, and fear. A meal was a social contract. If I feed you today, maybe you feed me tomorrow. If we survive together, none of us has to face the dark alone. This may be the most forgotten part of the ancient diet. We focus on protein, carbs, fat, rules. But our ancestors also ate belonging. They ate trust. They ate safety. The same food tastes different when it is shared with people who protect you. So maybe the most un-paleo thing today is not bread. Maybe it is isolation. Maybe it is eating alone under stress, staring at a screen, fearing every ingredient, turning food into anxiety. Ancient people did not have perfect diets, but they had context, effort, movement, seasons, hunger, gratitude, community. You cannot buy your way back to the past. You cannot heal a modern life by copying one imagined plate from 50,000 years ago. The deeper lesson is not what they ate. The deeper lesson is how they lived with uncertainty. They did not ask the world to become predictable. They became flexible enough to meet the world as it was. So stop looking for the perfect ancient diet. It was never there. Look for the ancient strength beneath it. The ability to adjust, to share, to endure, and to keep learning. And if you want part 2, how community might be the real missing nutrient in modern life, subscribe and I'll continue this story.